Welcome back to Sahara TV. My name is Rudolf Okonkwo. It's a great honor for us to have with us, joining us from Abuja, Nigeria, the President-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, General Muhammadu Buhari. General Buhari, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you.
Sir, today we are electing governors who will work with you. These governors, they have a very huge say in how Nigeria's resources are located. Current Minister of Finance told Nigerians and complained that the governors forced the hand of this government to spend money that they didn't want to spend, money like the sovereign wealth. How do you hope to tame such demands in your administration?
Well, firstly, I think the Minister of Finance who complained about the powers of governors, if the law said that the Economic Committee will sit quarterly to allocate resources, revenues earned by the federal government in the three tiers of the government, the center, the federal government, the state, and the local governments, I'm afraid the governor has no cause to complain, because the governors cannot force the central government to act outside the constitution. So I don't understand why this complaint is being lodged by the minister. I don't understand it. Is the governors act outside the Nigerian law or outside the influence of the federal government? That has to be made clear.
Okay. So are you saying that the governors are saying that because of the allocation formula, they have a say in how some of this money are allocated? So are you saying that you are going to, if that is the case, you are going to change something in the formula that we currently use?
I cannot change anything without going to the House of Representatives. As you know very well, it's a tier system in the sense of the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. So whichever arrangement is made within those three tiers has to be respected.
All right, let's go to another thing. You said that your government will move forward and not probe things that happened in the past. But most Nigerians, including the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, they believe that there are people within your party, the APC, that either have pending or unfinished EFCC or ICPC cases. How do you tackle corruption without first dealing with these people?
Well, how I wish you have made some research before answering this question. What I have always said is that what is in the pipeline, what is with the judiciary, the government will not tamper with it. But to become embroiled in investigating every ministry, every parastatal, then the government will have no time to move forward. But what's in the pipeline and EFCC and the ICPC are constitutional. Whatever is before them is part of what is in the pipeline to the judiciary. That has to be dealt with by the judiciary. This is what I have said.
Okay. When you were declared winner of this election, you said, and I quote, "I assure you that Boko Haram will soon know the strength of our collective will and the commitment to rid this nation of terror and to bring back peace and normalcy to all the affected areas. We shall spare no effort until we defeat terrorism." Now, however, shortly after that, in an interview with the BBC, you said that, and I quote again, "If for 5 to 6 years, the Nigerian law enforcement agencies, including the military, could not secure 14 local governments out of 774, how can I promise miracles when I come?" Now, a lot of Nigerians became concerned after that BBC interview that you may end up repeating the same thing that this government has been saying, which is that they need more time to fight Boko Haram.
No, our administration will have time to fight terrorism, because on my visit to 35 cities out of 36, And the town halls we conducted, we identified, according to our party manifesto, 3 fundamental issues. Number 1, security. Number 2, the economy. Number 3, corruption. Now, if we are to secure and efficiently manage the country, we have to start with security. That's what we said. And in several places I mentioned that the first thing I expected this government to do, we have arranged a meeting with our neighbors, the Cameroon, Chad, and Niger. And we wouldn't allow it until it is too late before these countries have to come in order for them to secure their own territorial integrity. I think somehow this government either took the case of Boko Haram too lightly, or they thought it is not important enough to bother. This is what I have been saying. And I said in all the 35 states I visited.
Now, in a few days, we will mark 1 year since 230 schoolgirls were abducted from Chibok. You are on record for saying that this is the greatest embarrassment for Nigeria since independence. How do you plan to cure this embarrassment?
Well, the first thing is that these 3 countries I have just mentioned, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger, I believe the movement of Boko Haram across these international borders and probably facilitating them training bases and maybe movement of weapons and other logistics to support their operations in Nigeria is the first thing we will stop. And we will need their cooperation so that we will locate where these 230 or more girls are and try to recover them. I believe if there had been a conscientious effort by this government and get our neighbors involved, even for their own interests, Boko Haram could have been dealt with. We had other problems in that region much earlier on, like in 1983, early, when Chadian rebels came into Nigerian side, we got them out. And subsequently, we had a religious problem called Metaphysical effect. They too, we dealt with them. So Boko Haram are not unique in our political development, but this government has been very, very slow and inefficient in dealing with serious security issues.
Okay, one of the key items on your manifesto is tackling unemployment. Your party promised to create 20,000 jobs in each state of the Federation, which will come up to 720,000 jobs in a year. With the harsh economic realities of today, how is it easy? How is it possible? How can you make that happen?
Well, in the manifesto, I hope you will visit it and read it very hard. We had a committee of competent Nigerians who worked for several months, to draw that manifesto. And if you try to find out anything about Nigeria, we have great agricultural potentials, and we have a great mining potential as well. Gold, coal, columbite, tin, name it. And we believe there are so many studies which were done from independence to now that are collecting dust in the archives. We have to dust them up, update them. And then the unemployed, which consists mainly of youth, that are more than 60% of Nigerian population, those that have been schooled and those that haven't been schooled, are all unemployed. And we moving into agriculture and mining will facilitate a lot of relief of unemployed. This is what, in a condensed form, the manifesto provides.
Now, General, Nigerians are concerned about the distribution of the country's wealth. Many ask, for instance, who owns the oil blocks and what is the process for acquiring one? Once in office, are you going to revise the status quo and ensure that more equitable distribution of Nigeria's wealth? Are you going to make it transparent, the process of acquiring oil blocks, and let the nation know who are these people who own these oil blocks?
Well, I think I believe you recall that I was
oil minister.
the Minister of Petroleum under General Okonjo for more than 3.25 years. So I have some idea about oil industry. I think partisan politics, I think negatively affected the industry by making people that didn't have the capacity to develop in terms of prospection of development of the industry, for to give them the opportunity. In those years that we served in the military for the oil industry, only multinationals with proven records of integrity that are given the opportunity to get involved in the prospection and development of the oil fields, and this is done according to agreements that are vetted and signed, for the government. So this proliferation of oil fields to people who don't even know what it is one of the best things partisan forces have brought. And when we go in, we have to look at it very hard and try and stabilize the situation.
Okay, now oil prices dropping since for the past few months, and foreign reserve is also being depleted. As of last month, we had that over $3 billion was withdrawn from our foreign reserves. How will you implement all your ambitious programs, including feeding students in primary and secondary schools, with and paying graduates with this situation where we don't have oil prices are going low and we don't have money in our foreign reserve?
Well, the question of feeding school children in primary and secondary school actually meets a day is as a result of this study done by the committee that has drawn the manifesto, and based on experience of at least one state of the Federation, Osun State, is one of the irresourceful states, but given a meal a day to primary school children and post-primary schools, opened the agricultural employment capacities and getting corn, getting chicken, poultry, and arranging women and agreeing on contract with them to be providing eggs and corn and rice and meals, and that encourage employment and that encourage productivity on agricultural side. So really, our manifesto is look very hard. Is the intention for ACC to fully exploit Nigerian potentialities in agriculture, in mining, and boosting industry through boosting agriculture and mining. This is possible for those who know Nigeria capacity that has been allowed to be dormant for so long because of oil revenue. Now that the oil revenue is going, we have to go back to the basics.
Okay, Nigeria seems to have lost respect in the community of nations in the last 4 years with a lot of negative reportage. Nigeria, for instance, voted against the Palestinian statehood at the United Nations. which is a change from our foreign policy. What will be your policy on the international relationships once you assume office?
Well, personally, as President-elect, I had an experience and the honor to have led this country under a different arrangement, 1984-85, and we developed the foreign policy based on concentric circles. Nigeria is the center of the interest of the national interest. Then our immediate neighbors, which made a lot of sense, because things like the Boko Haram, it was a concentric circle system of foreign policy was developed. There would have been secure borders, there would have been trade with immediate borders, and then sub-region, ECO, and then Africa, then Asia, and the rest of the world. I think we will revisit that under now multi-party democratic system. So we are confident that the capacity of our country is great, and we need to quickly explore that capacity to earn respect or regain the respect we have lost because of inactivity and because of perhaps laziness in trying to find out what have we been doing before from independence, until recently. Why was it Nigerian military that earned respect for operation in Burma, in Zaire, in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, in Darfur, cannot secure for the local government or its own territory? All those things will have to be visited as rapidly as possible.
Okay, General, this week you met with former President Olusegun Obasanjo at the airport in Lagos. What did the two of you discuss? And what influence would Obasanjo have on your government, considering the role he played in the just concluded election? We're asking this question because on social media, we're hearing reports about people trying to influence you on who should be in your cabinet.
Yes, I think those who are making that reference in the media are being very uncharitable. And I think people have to accept the realities of Nigerian political development. General Olusegun Obasanjo is the only living Nigerian that led Nigeria for more than 11 years. So for anybody to think that General Obasanjo is irrelevant or he was trying to push his influence over issues, I think is being uncharitable and not being fair to Nigerian political development. This man was 11 years as head of the country, both military and political. And for anybody to think he can walk into Nigerian leadership without tapping some of the benefits from that man, I think is being very unrealistic. General Obasanjo did not ask me to give anybody any ministry or underestimated my own capacity. I worked under him directly for 4 years as a governor and as his Minister of Petroleum. So he knows me, he knows my weaknesses and my strengths.
Okay, General, one last question. I know you have to go. You said you would declare your assets when you get into office. Will you make it public, and will you compel your ministers and your vice to do the same?
Well, again, I will have to refer you to our history. When General Murtala and Obasanjo came to power, those of us from them, that's Murtala and Obasanjo downwards, all those that were governors, ministers, permanent secretaries, head of foreign staff, and all those with political appointment would have to declare their assets on the assumption of their appointments and definitely it was the courts. And once they leave, they have to redeclare their assets. So that if there is any government that says that any person from that time, 1975, that had an opportunity to lead the country, to become a minister, to become a head of important foreign status, has misused his office and abused trust, it wouldn't be too difficult for the government to find out and apply sanctions. So for any part of officials of government to start talking deliberately about people being corrupt, nothing is being done, they are not serious. Why can't they challenge whichever administration it is? What happened to the declaration of assets of those particular people? Why can't the current government let them even make it an election issue? If that government wants to be elected, let them finish corrupt people.
All right.
This is my point.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, General Muhammadu Buhari, for joining us.
Very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That has been a special interview with the President-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, General Muhammadu Buhari. We will come back with more of our programs. Stay tuned.